Are you seeking to learn something different? Enthused to pick up a new skill set fast? In this episode, I'll share how I used the immersion strategy many times in the course of my life to learn rapidly. I'll be sharing 3 examples from my own journey and my simple 5-step process you can use and hopefully give you a very good sense for how you can quickly pick up a new skill set or even a new language in your own life. Let's start by defining the word immersion. It means to plunge in, dip into, sink, submerge. From the 1640s, it meant absorption in some interest or situation. That is, to involve deeply, absorb. And interestingly, in 1965, immersion became known as a method of teaching a foreign language which was trademarked by the Berlitz company. Ironically though, while the intent of the immersion strategy is good, it came about in my life through a bad environment. How so, you ask? In my much younger days, I recall many friends around me in school cursing and swearing. Expletives in English and Chinese dialects were peppered into the air every day. That's how I picked up vulgarity and probably how I first consciously got an inkling about immersion. It's essentially the osmosis principle at play. I'll now share 3 examples from my life to better illustrate and demonstrate the immersion strategy. Example 1. Around 14 years old, I vividly remember most of my classmates making the most of the transition times between classes by playing a game of chess against one another. Not knowing how to play the game myself and not wanting to be left behind, early one weekend, I visited the library to borrow the title How to Learn Chess in a Weekend by Dorlin Kindersley. And believe it or not, that very weekend, I invested most of my time sitting in the toilet, reading the book and learning the rules and basic strategy of chess. This was followed by a few weeks of studying opening, middle and endgames chess strategies. And just as important, playing chess against my classmates whenever I could. After some time of consistently playing the game, I ranked second in class only to a genius from East Malaysia called George. That's immersion for you. Example 2. Around 17 years old, I got really interested in web scripting and programming languages, and so I bought a PHP book by Frogs. That was pretty expensive and thicker than a typical Bible. I started immersing myself into the contents right away and got pretty obsessed by practicing coding into many late nights, often only sleeping around 3 a.m. This eventually panned out into me creating lots of websites for myself and even for my clients. Now, for the final example, the third and final example, right? Since my mid to late teens, I've been feeding myself on human nature, psychology, personal development, and related material. Right? This led me to making many sales calls, running a top-notch professional development organization, and speaking to, assisting, and coaching many people around the world to this day. You'll never know where your immersions could lead you to. Some will be short-lived, while others continue on for a long time or even for life. Trust you enjoyed these 3 examples. Now let's get into my 5-step process before you embark on learning anything new going forward. Okay, step 1. Be clear on your personality and values and your life's purpose, mission, and vision. Right? Know your why behind what you plan to learn and see if it aligns with what I just mentioned. Otherwise, based on experience, it's going to be largely a waste of time. Okay? Now, number 2, set a measurable target or goal. Set a measurable target or goal for the skill set or language you want to learn. Right? Number 3, get a personal mentor or coach if you're absolutely serious. It's the most effective way I know for learning. So that's number 3. Step 4, get started and set ample time aside to practice and even to teach it. Right? This is particularly important if you are learning and mastering a new language. Okay, in the 1960s, the learning pyramid developed have shown we retain about 90% of what we learn when we teach what we learned or use right away. And step 5, celebrate. Take time to acknowledge and even to reward yourself for your newly acquired skill set and move on to the next. As this episode comes to a close, is there a new skill or language you'd like to learn quickly? If not, ask yourself, What is the number one skill I need to learn now to grow well? What is the number one skill I need to learn now to grow well? Time is of the essence. Start immersing into your focus subject today. Hey, thank you for listening. Do take a moment now and like this episode, leave a comment, and also subscribe to not miss out on new episodes. Once done, check out your next episode. Want to connect? Do so at calvinchan.org and also on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Stay well and talk soon.